Is this the 4th episode of Church Chat? I'd like to figure what's going on with our good camera.
I would too. Was it still not working this morning?
That's why we're here.
Okay. We may have to take it to a camera repair shop.
Do you know of a camera repair shop?
Not near her, but I'm sure there is one here.
Anybody know of a camera repair shop? We'll throw that out there. Because our good camera doesn't work. That's why you got this crummy camera for all this stuff. All right, well, hello and welcome to Church Chat. It's still pretty bright in here, huh? I wonder if there's something else I can do. It'd be nice, it'd be really nice if our other camera worked. Wouldn't that be great?
It's true. I wonder why it's not.
I don't know.
I can't figure it out.
Every time it just comes up with a big old black screen. I do this, and see now we got, then they can't say anything because we're not there.
That's not good.
No. It's weird. I'm gonna see if I can't turn down the sun. All right, well, welcome everybody. We'll turn off the choir. All right. Oh, it's just getting good. Dang.
It's true. It's getting very exciting now.
Well, welcome everyone to I think this might be the 4th episode of Church Chat. I think it's been a different cast every time.
This is true.
I think it's
We have a rolling cast.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So
You never know what to expect.
That's right. So 2 weeks. So our first episode was a whole cast.
This is true.
Then I think it was just John and myself. And last week it was Father Greg and myself, Father Greg from Prince of Peace. And now it's the two of us. So
Hello there.
and there was kind of a church chat on Wednesday last week too, because I think people are expecting that we'll do it on Wednesday, and
Right.
then so if we don't, we'll try to keep people informed if we're not doing it on Wednesday. So,
Right.
but anyway, how are you doing? Welcome to the next installment of Church Chat. We're excited to be here. You might hear the sonorous sound of
Brad vacuuming.
Brad vacuuming or running the machine of the cleansing machine. Sounds like that might be the vacuum.
Yeah, it's got a sucking sound to it.
That
Uh-huh.
yes,
You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
It's a
It's
little
a-
whirly.
It's a
little
sound.
high-pitched wheeze on it.
It sounds
Mhm.
sounds like it's sucking.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Church chat sounds like it's sucking. Well, welcome everybody. My screen is so dirty, you can see it in the sun. But welcome, and if you got any questions, so it's been a while since the two of us have been here.
This
So
is true.
how's your summer going? What you're working on? What you doing to keep in contact, to keep your faith formation going, to keep in connection with everybody? So feel free to type in the comments. I'll try to watch the Facebook and the YouTube for anything that you might have for us. I'm going to quickly just. Whoa! Hello there.
What happened?
My camera got weird.
That's not good.
I know. Everything is weird.
Everything is weird.
Everything is weird. Yeah. Boy, that camera is. Oh, maybe. Okay, there we go. It's got a real glare on it.
Because it's yeah.
Okay.
mhm.
So I'm gonna go over to the camera, and I have to cover it with my hand here. But I want to say hello since it's been a while. Hello to my nieces. Hello there, Rachel and Rosalie and Laura. I hope that you are having a super great day, and it's going to be hot again today, so it might be not the best swinging weather.
It's true.
Yeah, so it's
I
hot
haven't
and
gone
bright.
swinging in a long time.
I have been swinging recently because I've been on their swing set. So
oh wow.
yes.
Okay.
And then also hello to the Dryling girls, and I want to say thank you to the Drylings. We are very grateful for our official show cups now.
Those are
This is
very
from the
cool.
Fireside Chat. So thank you to the Dryling family for this lovely cup. It's a great capture too. It's a great picture. All of us are in good poses, I think. So we now have our official morning show cups, which is we've arrived at big time now.
It's
so
true. Mhm.
I happen to have mine with me here. Father Ashmore's yours probably over the rectory, I presume.
It's
So
true.
yep.
Mhm.
I just happened to have it because mine was still in my car. So
Mhm.
anyway, so thanks so much. I appreciate it very much. And now we will go back to the show. So what are you working on there, Father Ashmore? What do you got going on?
Right
are you
now?
doing? You're sitting around. That's all you're doing, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, no, as many people are aware, I have taken on the work of working with our youth, in a particular way with youth ministry in middle school and high school.
Uh-huh.
And so I've been doing a lot of planning, talking to people, having meetings, trying to figure out exactly how to do it this year, because we've got a couple challenges this year. One of them is COVID-19.
Yes.
And the other is that we're starting and just transitioning. And so it gives us the opportunity to rethink and ask ourselves, are what we are doing, are the efforts that we're putting forward, bringing the fruit that we wish, and how can we do that more effectively?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been having a lot of good conversations. I don't have too much to share at the moment. There's more to come, don't worry. But one of the major developments is we are doing summer service projects for our youth. Now, we've done this in the past, but this is a way of just allowing me to get to know some of the youth in the parish. And on Wednesday, the first 3 Wednesdays of July at 6:30, if you have a student who is going into 8th through 12th grade, and they're looking for something to do on a Wednesday evening, send them to the church at 6:30 with a face mask, work clothes, and a bottle of water, and we're going to put them to work.
So when was that again?
The first 3 Wednesdays of July, well, okay, so it's the middle 3 Wednesdays of July, July 18th, 15th, and the 22nd.
Okay, great. What time?
At 6:30 to 8.
6:30 to 8
Mm-hmm.
in the evening.
In the evening,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
Not in the morning, yes.
Got
In the evening, yes. We were going to do it also on the 29th, but we have a confirmation that night.
Okay, yeah.
So we had to cancel that one, but we're doing the middle 3 because it's a 5 Wednesday July. We're doing the middle 3 Wednesdays.
Middle 3. Very
Mhm.
good.
I'm very excited because I know I've already talked to a lot of students who are planning on coming. I couldn't tell you the number at this point. Your first event, you just kind of do your best shot. But this is a great opportunity for us to meet some of the people in the parish. Also for the students to feel committed to their parish in a certain way, because they can build up that relationship. Hey, I planted that, or I tore down that tree, or whatever it is. And we have some ideas for what we could perhaps develop this into. Maybe helping out in the neighborhood for some elderly persons who need like raking in the fall or things like that. So I'm excited. If you have students, please send them in. We'd really love to see them.
Great.
Mhm.
Very good. I'm excited for that. Great work that you're doing there, Father Ashmore, and lots of exciting things to come.
Mhm.
We also at the parish are doing the virtual Lollapalooza next week. So Mary Catherine has been spearheading that and getting that going. I wonder if I can provide a link here. Talk about something while I look for that link here.
Talk about something or just Lollapalooza?
Or Lollapalooza, that'd be great. Let me see if I can pull up that link.
So Lollapalooza, I don't know all the details on it, to be honest. I've only been told a couple things, some from Mary Losick.
Right, because you've never
And
experienced Lollapalooza.
I've never experienced Lollapalooza, and I'm getting to experience my first online Lollapalooza with all of you too. So we're all in this together.
And yes, so I'm gonna put this link up here.
That website looks fantastic.
It
doesn't
does, yes.
Mhm.
So copy. Hey, speaking of websites that are looking fantastic,
Uh-huh.
our website is under complete
Renovation.
renovation.
Wasn't there a show? What was it? Complete Renovation, or remember when they would go to some person who had done something really wonderful in their life, but their house was in shambles, and the team would come and help the house. What was that called? Extreme Home Revolution.
What is that thing called?
Because the main guy who was in charge was Ty Pennington. Is that the name?
I don't know.
I
I've seen
think
like a half an
It was
episode.
very cool.
No, it's a kind of a play on words. I think this show.
Someone help us here, because I'm
Yeah.
pulling back from my youth here, which is many, many moons ago.
Makeover.
Extreme Home Makeover.
Makeover.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Our website is basically having that done to it.
That's right.
Except for we're not bringing in famous people to do it. We're doing the work.
Yeah.
So
So, Raffaele has been doing a lion's share, and then all the staff has been contributing, and then as well as Father Ashmore has been doing that too. So,
Mhm. I'm very excited about the website. I think it's looking really good. Raffaele has done a tremendous amount of work, and so we really thank Raffaele for
We do.
that.
people don't necessarily know this, but he's got a computer background, and that wasn't. And when I talked to him, I said, I know that you're the music director, but could you help us here in these strange times? And he was very agreeable to that. So it was great. So yeah, so
it's been great to work with him. He's got a great perspective, great way of working with people too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. It's been a great process. So it's coming soon. It's coming real soon.
I can't give you any timeline, but I can tell you that it will be sooner than you'd expect. But it won't be as soon as you wish.
Very good. Not as sooner than you expect, but not as soon as you wish. That's true, because people wish that it would be here like 4 months
Today.
ago.
Yeah, exactly. Or
2 years ago.
Right.
Because it was pretty dated and it needed some work, and we all knew that, but we just didn't know how to do it. And so, well, it's kind of my point of the homily too, and I've been saying this a lot, is just making sure we're using our time wisely. Some of us have more time, some of us have less time, and what we want to be doing with our vocations, our prayer, our reading, our projects, all those things. There's a great opportunity to waste our time, but there's also a great opportunity to use our time wisely. So, so we're trying to use this time wisely with working on this website. So. So check out that Lollapalooza site, and I just emailed Mary Catherine this morning to see if there's anything else I can do. We are possibly going to do some sort of like fun kind of kickoff and weekly show or daily show next week to promote Lollapalooza. We haven't talked really much about what that's going to look like, or we've talked about that we're both interested if that would be helpful, because there's going to be a lot of auction items, and we both think it'd be kind of fun to kind of pump it up, and like kind of, I don't know, like
I keep talking about like a Lolla cocktail night or something, where we could I could like send out the supplies for a cocktail we're going to make together.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes, yes, I like this.
But I don't want to step on anybody's toes, so who knows what will happen, but I think it could be a lot of fun.
I think it sounds great fun. Yes, because you know how to make those cocktails.
I do.
What's your specialty, Manhattan?
I don't know if I have a specialty. I've got several that I really enjoy making. I'm trying to expand to where I can do more cocktails than I used to, but the way that I pursue any project is that I always try to go and get the basics down just right. So like if you're going to make cookies, you have to get your chocolate chip cookie right down.
Okay.
Because if you don't have your base down, then all your like more extravagant cookies are never going to work. Right?
And I feel that way about donuts too. If you can't get your glazed donut right, then what are you doing with the other donuts?
Yeah. Precisely. Or coffee. If you can't get your espresso right, you're never going to have good coffee, other things like macchiatos or whatever it is. So I went down and I've worked really hard on getting a really good Manhattan, a really good old-fashioned down.
Okay.
So the old-fashioned is one I'm particularly proud of, because I've got a couple little tricks up my sleeve for that one. But I also just made limoncello.
He did. Do you know how many people I've met in my life that have made homemade limoncello?
Now you live with one.
That's right. So limoncello is an Italian kind of aperitif, or a
DJ Steve Moore.
Yeah. So after dinner drink kind of thing. Very sweet and very delightful. So
I'll perhaps in the cocktail night I'll tell you how to make it too. It's a lot easier than you'd expect.
It's just you have to be patient, because you have to let the thing sit there with lemon peels for a long time. Oh, tell us about your auction item. Yes, we do have an auction item that we are excited about. I think
it'll be very cool.
Yeah, so tapas and games, tabletop. It should have been called table tapas.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, where were we? Table tapas.
You're right, table tapas. It's a missed opportunity. We can still rename it that.
Yeah, we can be table tapas.
Maybe we can put it in like quotation marks.
Well, so the premise is we tried. It's typical for the pastor and the associate pastor to offer some sort of auction item, and
sometimes it's weird because sometimes you're being auctioned off. And that, in our culture today just doesn't have the right connotation.
Right. Well, and sometimes
I'm not joking, that actually happens. Like I've seen in St. Louis or other places, like a seminarian is auctioned off for an evening, so like somebody can spend the evening with one of the seminarians, and like the old ladies are like talking about which one's cuter in this one, and it's
It's like that from that movie Groundhog Day when they're doing that thing.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
the auction or whatever that is.
Mhm. I always said that I should be auctioned off, and we could go and pick out a suit together. Where like I could go and help a young man pick out a good
Uh-huh.
suit. And so
Yeah.
because I enjoy clothes. I enjoy sizing up suits and that sort of thing. So. Mhm.
Good. Well,
But-
so sometimes like there's the event or whatever the pastor is auctioning off is less related to the pastor, which I mean it's fine. It's like a dinner at Paulo and Bill's or a steak dinner with Father Kent or Father Jim or whoever, and that's all fine and good. But we thought for this year we'd like to try to do something that comes a little bit more from us. Because I think those are the ones that at least I like the most, is like, oh, what do you do? What are your talents? What are your gifts? And that's something that I'd like to share in, rather than having a dinner that somebody else prepares. I kind of like the idea of, if we're going to do the dinner, then I want to do it ourselves. So this table tapas idea that we have is following both of our passions. So you know that I like tabletop games. And so my piece of it is I will teach some games to people that work well with families. I will handpick. I will see who wins the auction, and then I will try to figure out, and I'll be in communication, try to figure out which games would be best for those the families that are there, and then those will be provided, and you'll take those games home with you. So it's talking about my passion. I love sharing the joy of gathering around a table and playing games together. I think it's very good for families, really, to be quite honest, because there's so much temptation to do a bunch of screen time, and this gives something else that's non-electronic, and it has people looking at people face to face. That's those are a couple of reasons I really like tabletop games, and I kind of spread the joy about those things for families to share. So I want to share that passion and get people connected with some games that I really love and I think work well with families. So that's my passion. That's the table part, or the games part. And your part?
I love to cook, and so I've cooked since I was a kid. I've really enjoyed trying to craft it into an art, and I'm not I'm no genius at it, but I really enjoy it, and so I find it to be one of the most relaxing things. It's exciting every time it's different, and it's a great way for families to spend time together too. It can get hot in the kitchen sometimes, obviously, as you're burning this, you're getting but it's a good bonding experience. And with some of my closest friends, one of the favorite things that we do is we come together, we cook a great meal, and then we enjoy that meal together. And it can take several hours because we are all extravagant over the top, but it's really a wonderful experience. So I'm going to share that with all of you, and we'll be making small plates tapas.
Yep. The idea is that you can have a plate, a small plate, play a little game, and then prepare a small plate or whatever. So we're still trying to figure out exactly what that looks like.
This is actually kind of scary to me because I actually don't normally cook small plates. So this is going to take some research on my part to make sure we get it down just right.
Right.
So,
And these, of course, so although the event is happening, the auction is happening next week, the actual event, we don't have a date set, and kind of intentionally, because to be quite honest, we don't think it's a good idea to invite people over to the rectory to sit around and exchange pieces on the table, game pieces and food pieces and everything. So we want to wait until it's safe. So we have no sense of when that would be, probably in the spring sometime. So if that would be a fear for you all, I don't want to do that because I'm afraid of getting together. We will wait until it's safe, and so whenever that would be. So so we're excited about that event. So
it should be a lot of fun.
Yep. So just sharing our passions and trying to do a good community event. So that is Lollapalooza. That is what else is
Youth
going
ministry. Are we supposed to have like a one joy, one?
Oh yeah.
One joy, one fear.
Right. Yeah. We had kind of a
go?
format. We haven't done this very often. So
It's true. So how does the format go?
What's a joy that you've been having in your life, in your ministry, over the past week, in our case, month, and then also just kind of we've talked about a little bit about news. So some sort of joy or something.
Okay.
I watched Hamilton on Friday, and that was so that's like a
not really a ministry of joy, but I'm part of the group there's lots of people have been talking about this Hamilton thing, and I had never seen it before, and I was invited by my good friends, the Books, to watch it, and it was spectacular. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. So
Wow. Okay, I haven't seen it yet. I'd love to see it.
yeah, yeah, we should watch it. We have
Yeah.
Disney Plus, I think, don't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
So-
we'll take care of that. I'll pick three joys.
Three
Three joys. Okay.
Joy away.
So the first one I've already mentioned. It's coming and bringing together the limoncello. That was pretty exciting to me. I've to taste it all, and now it's sitting in our freezer right now, mellowing out a little bit. So
You just mellow out up there.
it's true.
Well, it
It's a
was
little-
very.
it-
Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's a little harsh right now, but it even got better after a couple days, didn't it? Go ahead, please tell me.
Well, I was just gonna say it was very exciting because well,
Go ahead.
I'll segue here for a second and then I'll come back. I've been doing my communion calls, which have been a great joy. So I've been doing that on Sunday afternoons. For those who do not feel comfortable coming to church for whatever reason at this time, I am trying to stay true to my word that says I'll bring in Jesus. So it's taken me about 3 hours or so to make the rounds, three and a half. And I'm really enjoying it because the joy that I'm experiencing on other people's faces. Several people have said, I haven't had Jesus since March or whatever, and so that's been really beautiful. And it's really nice for me to touch base with all the folks. But additionally, on that joy, after I'd had this joy of bringing communion to so many people, I come home on Sunday evening, and this jar of lemon peel had been sitting on our counter for a month. And we were talking about early July, it's going to be Limoncello Day. And I come back and I see it and it's open and you've gone to the next level, and it was very exciting.
That's awesome.
But carry on with your Limoncello.
So it was a little rough the first day, and
It was, woo!
yeah. But it needs a couple days to mellow out, and it's mellowing out right now, and it's quite good. I had a little bit more. I had a little bit last night too. So
I sometimes need a couple days to mellow out. myself.
exactly, I understand. That's how we're all like that sometimes. So there's that other one. The other evening, I just had a really wonderful evening of reading, and it was just I felt myself very refreshed by it. So
Thomas Aquinas
exactly, it was
in Latin.
In Latin, yeah. But I wasn't going to mention that.
So yes, I this is the first time I've ever lived with someone who not only makes limoncello, but for his free time reads Thomas Aquinas in the original language in Latin. So
It's the only way to read it.
no, it's great. Well, I mean, I guess technically I probably was when I was living with the folks in the seminary. I guess technically there were
Right.
probably people reading it in Latin there.
It was a
too.
really wonderful article on the Lumen Gloriae, we call it, which is the light of glory. The whole question about the Lumen Gloriae is, how can we see God in heaven when our bodies are natural objects of sight? Our eyes are not accustomed to be able to see God. We can't see God in this world. So how are we going to be able to see
Right,
him?
you were getting really excited about this.
Oh, it was a really wonderful answer. There's some cool things going on here. Because it's a pretty simple answer, but the implications of it are astounding. And Thomas did a wonderful job of dealing with some objections to it. So it was a wonderful teaching. But we believe that when we are in heaven, we will be given what's called the light of glory, which will make it so that our eyes can see God. And so it's like we're given the capacity in our own intellect, and it's not technically our eyes, but in our intellect, we're to be able to see God. So suddenly we'll get God ray vision, you might want to call it, to where we'll be able to see him. And why can we do that? Well, because we're going to get a certain participation of God in our intellect. So we're going to be able to see God because we have God within us in a new way, which is a beautiful way to think about it. And so that's why we're able to see God in heaven. We're not seeing merely with our eyes. We're seeing God through God. In your light we shall see light. So does the psalm say. So that's why. In your light, in the light of your glory, we shall see your light. So it's really cool. It was really wonderful. And there's some really great objections that Thomas just clinched. It was great. So
That's awesome. I was over in the joy of the hammock when this was Monday night, and when I was hearing you getting all excited because John, we were all sitting there reading. It was quite lovely. I was reading a book that my mom got me for Christmas, The Priests We Need to Save the Church, which I've talked about before on Tuesday Night Live.
Do you like that book?
I
Never mind.
I do. I mean,
I've never read it. I was just curious.
I like it.
It's one of those titles. I'm always, when people say like, "Well, save the church this way," I'm always a little hesitant because I always want to remind people Jesus saying saving the church. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit. I mean, you got to come up with a catchy title, I suppose, that you're going to grab it off the
Certainly.
shelf. I do like it. I also don't like it because it's really challenging. It's challenging to me is we don't need you kinds of priests, and sometimes we don't need you, Father Kent. You're not the priest we need. This is the kind of priest we need. But it's good. It's good. It's challenging. It's what I should be reading, I think. So it's about. So I think this author is a sports writer or something. I think he's like on ESPN or something like that.
Okay.
His uncle was a priest who was murdered, Thomas Wells, and so a lot of his vision of what a priest is through the great ministry that he saw his uncle doing,
Wow.
Uncle Tommy as he calls him, and the way that he was faithful to all these things, and he really saw him as kind of a great example of what priests should be. So if more priests were like his Uncle Tommy, the church would even be a lot better place, I think, is kind of the lens that he comes at the
Okay.
book. But I think it's good. So that's what I was reading in my hammock while you were reading Thomas Aquinas in Latin. I don't know, what was John reading? Do you know?
I don't remember.
He was probably
He
just
was reading something.
texting or something,
Yeah,
or
like all
watching
the
a
kids
YouTube
do.
video.
Right.
But yeah, good.
What else? There was a third thing, and I can't remember what it was.
Well, you had Limoncello, you had Thomas Aquinas in Latin.
I don't remember what my third thing was. I had
no.
I had something. That's a shame.
No, that is a
I
shame.
felt like that was actually the most important too.
Related to ministry? Is it related to ministry or any
I don't
idea?
recall.
No,
I don't
no clue.
My
Huh?
grandma used to say when she would forget, "I guess the Lord didn't want me to say that."
Yeah.
So I guess that's true in this case.
There was probably something good. If you think of it, then we'll just come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Food, drinks, shows.
Oh, I do remember now.
Great.
We also watched a movie.
We did.
On Sunday night, was it?
We did.
Or It was. Yeah, it was after the Limoncello. We watched this movie, which was a surprising movie.
Yes.
That's the best way that I can put it at the moment. It's called Jojo Rabbit,
Jojo Rabbit.
and
We'd both heard people commenting about how it's great and everything.
it's a fantastic movie. It's great cultural commentary, but you start it and you're wondering, like, how can this be a good movie? Because it's all about a boy in Nazi Germany who has Adolf Hitler as an imaginary friend.
Right. It's a bizarre concept.
It's such a bizarre movie.
Uh-huh.
And but throughout the whole thing, I was just waiting for them to somehow make it offensive, and they didn't, because obviously the whole concept is kind of offensive.
Right. I mean, it's dark humor. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a comedy with really pretty interesting commentary and thoughts. And I would say I would give it, if I would give the bishop's rating, I'd give it with the A4 or L rating, because there's some language there,
Yeah, certainly.
which I found to be unnecessary. And but other than that, I don't think
It was
there
just
was
language, I thought.
just language.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And the themes are tough themes.
sure.
So we will tell you that. Right. We will tell you that Nazi Germany and Adolf Hitler do not come off looking good by this movie. So don't worry. That's not the intent of the movie.
No.
It's about essentially the transition of the boy as he's kind of coming to an adult understanding of what's going on.
Right.
I would
Right.
say.
Yeah.
And it's a really actually lovely movie in many ways.
It is. It is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Surprising, quirky, at times shocking, but I was really impressed with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I thought it was I thought it was great. It's not for everybody.
No.
It is quirky, and it's bizarre, and it has some language, but I found it to be interesting. It reminded me occasionally of Life is Beautiful. Did you ever see that movie way back when? It was
No.
an Italian movie. It was all the rage. I think it won certainly won best foreign film, and it was up for best picture back in like 2000, 2001 or something. reminded me a little bit of that,
Mhm.
mixed with, I don't know, what's that, what, Wes Anderson? Is
Wes
that-
Anderson.
is he-
It's a little bit Wes Anderson style.
Uh-huh.
Not totally Wes Anderson, but a little bit of him. You can see an influence is.
It was interesting because yeah, that kid. I mean, who would a kid look up to? So we'd been trained, that Adolf Hitler is kind of the hero, and
Right.
so that you want to be like Adolf Hitler. And so just kind of interesting. I don't know how this guy thought of this idea, but if someone who was so ingrained in the Nazi way of thinking, who would that hero be? Well, they kind of have this imaginary friend of Adolf Hitler, and he's kind of a comic effect too.
Right.
So he's not. I mean, he's obviously not real, and yeah. Anyway.
It's a really fascinating film, and yes, it does have Scarlett Johansson in it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She was in Lost in Translation?
Lost in Translation. That's another great film. I haven't seen that in a long time, so I can't give a good commentary on that film.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time either. That was Bill Murray, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Bill Murphy. I remember really liking it when I saw it.
I remember
Um,
really not liking it.
Oh, really? I'm a
I might have
fan.
been at the wrong
I'm
time.
a fan of Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, yeah, she's
films,
great.
too. So.
And you have not seen The Island. I think that's
No.
Scarlett Johansson too.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and that's. I'd like to see that movie again. I recommend The Island. Don't read anything about it because there's spoilers that you will be really confused about what's going on at the beginning of the movie. Don't read a thing about it, but I recommend The Island. The Island is 3/4 really great movie and 1/4 stupid Michael Bay movie. That's what I would call The
Okay.
Island.
Okay.
Really thought-provoking movie. 3/4 thought-provoking, interesting concepts. 1/4 stupid Michael Bay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, Michael Bay's not stupid, but big explosions.
Right.
and stuff.
Exactly.
But Michael Bay I think Michael Bay has a great eye for the camera. I really love his camera work and his lighting and everything.
Yeah.
He's really, really good. And he's also big on explosions, but his quiet scenes and the scenes of the way he captures the sun coming into the camera and everything, I think are really spectacular. Whatever you call it, filmography, videography, or whatever.
Mhm.
So, but I think that's Scarlett Johansson also. But
Mm-hmm. Fascinating.
but you don't want to even know the premise because I read on the back of the DVD cover
Mm-hmm.
after I saw it, but it gives you it tells you
Oh,
what it's
no.
about, and you don't want to know what it's about because the movie does not let you know at the beginning what it's about.
Right. So, our my recommendation is don't watch this movie with your kids
And don't.
because there is language issues and it would be very confusing for them.
Yep.
But coming from an adult mind, Jojo Rabbit was actually a really lovely film. I
It
thought.
was, yeah, I
So,
agree.
it's not above criticism or anything like that. I'm not saying that in the least, but it was fascinating. I want to watch it again.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
do.
I think unfortunately our rental just expired
Did it?
yesterday. I think we had
Oh.
48 hours to watch it. but,
Oh shucks.
Dang.
Oh well.
That's saying something for you to watch it again.
Yeah, because I normally don't watch movies over.
We really need to watch I want to watch Hamilton again because
Okay.
and I think you might like it. I was talking to Millie on the communion distribution, and she was mentioning some Fast and Furious, and they were comparing, and the reason that he did kind of hip hop style of a lot of the songs is because he could cram in a whole bunch of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of lyrics into a shorter period of time. And there was this really interesting article about if all the words that were in Hamilton were in a standard like Oklahoma or whatever, that pace,
Mm-hmm.
the show would be like 6 hours long.
Wow.
But if you cram it in as Hamilton has done, you
Uh-huh.
can get a lot more content in with the style of the show. So I thought it was really
Interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
But the
Yeah,
rhyming
if it was opera, it'd be like 12 hours long.
or Palestrina, right?
Palestrina.
Just like the
we'll
deer the
sing
love.
on one word for 16 measures.
But I was really also impressed with the lyrics and the rhyming patterns that were really brilliant.
Mhm.
Brilliant. Like we've talked about Les Mis, and that's even a translation,
Right.
and how they're really clever rhyming schemes and everything, and how do they do that, translating from French. Similar and even more amazing, I think, the way,
Hmm.
because almost all done in rhyme.
Right.
There's very little just spoken stanza. It's very poetic. I think you'd like it.
Okay.
The poetry of it, I think, is really lovely. So there's that. So what other joys did I have over the past week? I got to spend time a little bit of time with my sister and my nieces for
Very
brunch
nice.
on the 4th, so that was nice. Also got to celebrate a wedding reception on Saturday evening. Tried to maintain distance and everything, but they got married. I didn't actually get to go to the wedding because I had another wedding. I don't remember which weekend it was, but Their wedding was done like a month and a half ago, and that was really in the depths of
Yeah.
of restrictions, and so it was very small attended. The reception was still pretty sparse, not as big as they were intending, but they could at least have a few more family members there, and so that was nice. It was also a joy. This is a kid. She's not really a kid anymore, but I knew her as a kid when she was at Curie of ours and at Bishop Miege. She was one of my kids
Aw.
there at Bishop Miege. So it was neat to see her and to see the clan. I did the marriage prep too, so that was lovely. So
That's beautiful.
yeah. What else do we have to report here? We have kind of a visioning meeting coming up here with the staff, and kind of initiated really by Father Ashmore of trying to plan well. I mean, it was all the staff, but you really said, let's just sit down and plan for what we're going to do in the next 6 months and the next year. If we get locked down again, what's that going to look like? I think we did a fair job
Oh, yeah.
responding, but rather than responding, we want to get a little bit more ahead of the curve this time, I think is the idea.
Yeah.
So
We shot from the hip pretty well.
we did. And we were kind of creative and inventive, but we want to be a little bit more proactive, I think, as we go forward. So that's what we got going on today. I'm also meeting with our new deacon today. Deacon Tom is coming over at 2.
Okay.
So I'm excited to meet with him. And then I'm going down to Camp Tecumseh tomorrow, so that's exciting.
That's
So
right.
I have
That'll be
I have
fun.
mass down there tomorrow and on Tuesday. So I don't know what that'll look like. I wonder if they're still doing masses outside.
I think they are doing masses outside.
Okay.
I know I said mass outside there last week.
Right,
So.
which is why you weren't here, because you were down at the camp. I
Exactly.
think, if I
Was that
recall.
last week? Yes.
I think
it
so.
was.
It was fun. If you the little talk with Father Greg was fun too. It
Good.
was interesting to hear him because he had just arrived at Prince of Peace. So you can go back and watch that from last week, and it was very well. Our viewership was very high because he also shared it on the Prince of Peace page, and they were all
Nice, okay.
interested
Yeah,
and exciting
to know the new priest.
get to know priests.
Mhm.
So. But I think that's all we have pretty much for today. So we will plan on being back next Wednesday, and if we're not back next Wednesday, we will let you know, and either I'll do a short video and say, hey, tune in on Thursday. So that's kind of the plan. Normally Wednesday, back up on Thursday. So anything else to add?
No, thank you very much. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you next week, and it's Lala next week, right?
It's Lala next. Oh, yes. So we might
Lala
have a whole
next
bunch of stuff next
yeah,
week.
exactly.
So
So,
stay tuned to this channel. So very good.
and pray for our camera.
And pray for our poor camera. And if you know any camera repair people, we would gladly
Take their help. We
take-
don't know what's wrong.
We don't know.
It,
Yeah.
it's beyond me.
But we are also, well, yeah, we're closing out, but we are also, I'm in contact with our tech guy, Roy, because we want to get a permanent solution for the church and
Right.
use the cameras there, and instead of us trying to run it and me always being late for mass and everything because I'm struggling with the technology, we want to get a more permanent solution and have something that can be run from the sound booth and everything. So
Ha!
that's right.
That's amazing.
That's true. That Father Greg does like Taco Bell. So, all right. So we'll see you next week then.
Thank you all